So I'll put up two strategic planning positions. The first is through 2016, so that's our version of SPAs, I guess is the Gartner language. Here we call it an SPP, strategic planning position. Through 2016, hybrid cloud becomes the enterprise platform of choice. A transitional platform, however, en route ultimately to a future dominated by public and private clouds. So here's some data from a survey did a little earlier this year where we asked the following question: my company's preference for deploying new business software on a continuum. This is a global survey, 200 to 250 completes. On a continuum from on-prem to hybrid to pure play cloud will be. The snapshot for 2012, still on-prem is 50%, but hybrid at 40, pure cloud 10. But look how rapidly this transitions. By 2014, that hybrid goes to 63%. Only 18% of enterprises picked on-prem as the primary destination for the deployment of new. We're not talking about everything, right? We're talking about new. The new money that will get spent. With the pure cloud rising to 19. And by 2016, clearly the on-prem continues to slow. We call this the camelback slide because hybrid actually comes down and the pure cloud goes up. So we believe that hybrid architectures will continue to dominate things throughout the balance of the decade. I will share with you, we did this exact same question in another proprietary survey for one of our clients. The data was even more striking. So obviously that was a confidential survey. All I will say is these numbers even spiked even further in the 2016 timeframe. So hybrids are the world that we will live. We're moving towards CMSA, a new master architecture, driven by integration as the key linchpin, in particular in these hybrid-oriented environments, ultimately moving toward a pure cloud future. And some are moving faster than others. And in fact, that's what our next slide shares. We did a series of CIO deep dive interviews earlier this year. And I won't read all these quotes. But the key is that, and actually a couple of the people in this room are quotes from here. And I won't mention them by name. But I think the interesting thing is if you go back 2 years, CIOs, this cloud's kind of important, this new stuff is kind of important, but we got a lot on our plate. How rapidly cloud and related technologies are now core and fundamental to the IT planning process and to strategy is really, really interesting. How quickly that has cut over. And in fact, down at the bottom in the Saugatuck Insights section of the slide, I know you can't read it, it says that roughly of the deep dive interviews that we did, less than 10% had no cloud plans at all. 25% were rapidly moving to the cloud in all phases. Some folks actually had started to put plans in place, and it would take years and years and years, but they wanted to get rid of their data centers. These are billion-dollar, $5, $10 billion companies. In an interview that is published, so I can mention it, the CTO of Thomson Reuters, if he didn't have to build another data center, they never would, right? So 25% are on the aggressive crowd, and some of those very aggressive, and the vast majority are well beyond the learning phase, roughly 2/3, and are taking a pragmatic approach as appropriate, leveraging cloud for new business requirements as needed. The old stuff isn't going to go away. There's no panacea here, right? It's not just about cost savings, as we'll talk about throughout the day. It's really about creating new business value, and where will that new business value get created? So let me close with just some comments, concluding remarks. And rather than conclusions, let me open up some key questions to consider. How will businesses transform themselves in this new era? How can emerging digital technologies help improve customer engagement, drive new service lines and revenue streams? How can CIOs and CTOs anticipate, manage, and better build IT and business organizations? I think we'll clearly be tackling that today. How can CIOs rethink the procurement and vendor engagement model? How can businesses make the most effective use of analytics in this new model? We have a very interesting panel this afternoon with folks from American Express, GE, and what's the third company on that one? I forget. Let me go to my notes here. And Citi, and Nathan has doing some very interesting work at Citi. And what role will mobility play to increase the utility of collaborative tools and social networking?